Welcome to the SVG-TV News for Tuesday, November 2nd. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. The Ministry of Education has released the preliminary results of the August 2021 Caribbean Examinations Council's Secondary Education Certificate Examinations, CSEC, sat by students in SVG, which were received on Friday, October 29th. This year, 2,469 candidates were registered for the exams. The ministry said of these, 815 were private candidates and 1,654 were school candidates. There were 1,590 school candidates sitting 11,126 subject entries in 31 subject areas from 26 secondary schools. Approximately 83.48% of the subject entries were awarded grades 1 to 3, with the corresponding figure in 2020 being 81.86%. and 77.33% in 2019. This year, 28.05% of the passes were at the grade 1 level, 39.13% at grade 2, and 32.83% at grade 3. Last year's figures were 15%, that should be 15.62% at grade 1, 38.53% at grade 2, and 45.85% at grade 3. There were 11 schools which recorded percentage pass rates of 80% or more. These are the Girls High School with 98.54%, the Beckway Seventh-day Adventist 94.36%, the St. Martin Secondary School 94.07%, St. Joseph's Convent, Kingstown 93.93%, Thomas Saunders Secondary 90.49%, the St. Vincent Grammar School 89.54%, the Bishop's College, Kingstown 89.44%, the St. Joseph's Convent, Mariaquaw, 87.50%, North Union Secondary at 86.70%, the Mountain View Academy at 85.17%, and the Sinclair Dakin Secondary with 83.34%. 13 schools also obtained credible pass rates between 60% and 80%, with the Sinclair Dakin Secondary and the Union Island Secondary showing vast improvements in their performance at the 2021 examinations. In 2020, the Sinclair Dakin Secondary's recorded a pass rate of 65.99%, and in 2021 its pass rate increased to 83.33%. In 2020, Union Island Secondary recorded a pass rate of 48.51%, and in 2020 that pass rate rose to 67.50%. The top 3 performers for SVG for CSEC 2021 are Kajay Jack of the St. Vincent Grammar School, who sat 14 subjects and obtained all grade 1s, Andrew Dowers of the Mountain View Academy, who sat 16 subjects and obtained 13 grade 1s and 2 grade 2s, along with 1 grade 3, and Akela Crichton of the Girls High School, who sat 14 subjects, obtaining 11 grade 1s and 3 grade 2s. The top 3 students' area of concentration is the sciences. Kajay Jack, who resides in Connery, says that the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano affected his study schedule, but did not stop him from pursuing his dream.
We had to leave. We went by my grandmother, Janice Porter, and honestly, it kind of messed up my study schedule a bit, because I had this really nice study schedule going, and then all of that just kind of messed it up. But eventually I got back on track. Yeah, I am honestly elated. I mean, I knew I had the potential, but it still came as a little surprise to me. But I'm really grateful. I was like a little nervous because I thought, what if I didn't do as well as I thought? And then I went on the portal and I opened it up and I started going down the subjects, and I was like, wait, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then I really realized, wait, I got all 1s, and that was a very exciting moment for me. It was a little difficult. I had to really manage my time because there were so many assignments and homework, but through it all, God has been really good to me. There were times when I felt like, why even bother? I felt really frustrated at times, but I would often go pick up my Bible and read through the Word, and I would always find some scripture there that would comfort me during those times.
Dowers of the Mountain View Academy said the eruption and the COVID-19 pandemic did cause some setbacks for him, but they did not hamper his drive to excel.
Because of the things that were happening in St. Vincent, it was a bit tough because volcano and COVID was a thing as well. And online learning paid a bit of a challenge. So all of those three things combined made it a little difficult, but we pulled through. I was quite excited, you know, because right 16 I was real anxious for this thing. I was like, I wonder, am I passing? And then I see it and I was like, yo, I passed them. So I was excited. Kind of difficult to say which, but I enjoy the sciences. Well, personally, I want to excel. I want to do well. But also, I had people behind me. And also, I had to thank God for success, you know. But I had people, my parents, I have grandmother, I have parents, friends, I have other aunts who help me. And so, all of that help, as well as my personal want to do well, is kind of what pushed me.
Crichton of the Girls High School said she is pleased with her performance.
I was really happy. I was also really scared because I knew it was just paper one this year and it would have been really hard to get to one. So seeing my results, I was just really happy and in shock, and all I could do was smile. My mother, I opened them by myself because I just wanted privacy, and then I took a screenshot and I sent them for her. She both science and business. So out of my business subjects, I loved econ, and then the science subjects, kind of physics. So we had a mixture of both.
The top three students said they are hoping to move on to college or university, and they all share one goal: to become an engineer.
I'm hoping to go to college. I plan to do computer science, math, physics, and possibly management of business. Yeah, I've always been very into computers. Since I was small, I remember my mother telling me that when I was younger, she had this laptop, and I would be so fascinated by it. I would try to carefully.
So is this your intended career or anything more specific?
Yeah, I plan to become a software engineer or software developer.
What about your?
I mean, yes, it's a science, but I was more thinking of going into the information technology field, and because I like the feel and of computers and things you could do on them, because I prefer to be a programmer. But I like in IT, applying for university in Trinidad University, Southern Caribbean. So I intend to study IT, computing and biology on the zoology emphasis.
Just extremely hard studying in college, hoping for a scholarship, then off to university and hard work from there. Probably engineering if I do science, and if I go into business, I'm not sure yet.
But what's engineering?
Aeronautical engineering.
Parents of the top students are overjoyed and proud of their performance at CSEC 2021. They said hard work indeed pays off, and thank God for seeing their children through the challenging times.
And I cried. When it really sank in, I cried this morning. You try to do your best for your children, and when you actually see them staying on the right path and absorbing everything good that you would have tried to inculcate in them, it's just wonderful. It's awesome.
From the first day he born, I knew there was something special about him. And I watch him grow, and as he grew, I understand that he's special, and every day I try my best to ensure that he does the right thing.
Board, whether it be at bench or something. So when I see that in mind, I remember every single thing that the teacher or the lecturer is presenting. And so I would give him that advice from time to time. Always divide the work. Don't try to put a whole heap of study one time. It won't make it.
He was doing ADMAT, practicing. And I had to say, AJ, leave the book. Just leave the book and go to your bed. And then wake up 4 o'clock and tackle it again, which he didn't even bother to do. He just continued until he was finished. So diligence, commitment, faith in God, and how could I forget support? We supported him.
I was waiting. The results came out.
I opened them probably like an hour after they came out. I just sat and I stared
The results were
at the
supposed
screen.
to come out at 6 o'clock. She went into her bedroom and she locked the door. And everybody waited, and then I just got a message with a screenshot of the results. An hour later, everybody was just there waiting for her. She's always done well. She's a very well-grounded student. She does her work. She's always on her phone, but I guess that she actually made up for it with her school. I have to every minute, Kayla, get off your phone, but I see she pulled through.
Congratulations to all the students. In other news, former Prime Minister Sir James Mitchell remains hospitalized as he has reportedly been diagnosed with dengue fever. Last Saturday, the 90-year-old Sir James was transported from Beckway, where he resides, to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown for medical attention. Today, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday made an appeal for blood donors for Sir James, whom he said initially needs 8 pints of blood.
He has limited visitors and for short periods of time. But yes, the blood drive was, call for blood was put out today, this morning. And so we are urging and encouraging people to come and donate blood for Sir James. Of course, this is an opportunity as well for them to give generally. I just did myself, and other members, other persons are coming to do so. And I just spoke with him, and he is, completely, tremendously appreciative of the effort that people are making on his behalf, and the fact that it was put out there as a call for the public. And he agrees that, for him to be the catalyst for other persons to come and donate blood would be a good thing as well.
Meanwhile, Dr. Friday said that Sir James is feeling okay and he wanted him to let the people of SVG know that he has taken the booster COVID-19 vaccine and that it has helped save his life.
Well, he's completely lucid and chatting, so, but you can see that he is, he's ill. So it's a question now of getting the necessary treatment to come out. The important thing is, Sir James has had 3 shots of the COVID vaccine. And what he has said to me is a message to everybody, is that had he not had those shots, we wouldn't have been giving blood for him today, because he might have been gone. But that's an important lesson as well. He is in a hospital, he's ill, he needs our blood donations, he needs our thoughts, he needs our prayers. But he wanted me to make this point that had he not had those 3 shots, that the diagnosis now is that he has dengue, which is complicated by other factors, but he's quite sure that if he hadn't had those shots, he would not be here today.
Dr. Friday said the more blood donated to the blood bank is the better, not only to support Sir James, but others in need.
Well, they've said for 8 units, but he's here. He may be here for a little while, so the more anybody who wishes to donate should come, get themselves, ready and donate, because even if Sir James uses some of it, they'll be there for others to use as well. The blood bank always needs, here I'm making a pitch now for the blood bank. The blood bank always needs donation. And it's a good civic thing to do for people to come and donate. So I urge people to come and donate. And so James asked me to put that message out as well.
Having achieved the first target of administering 42,000 doses of vaccines in commemoration of the country's 42nd anniversary of independence, the Ministry of Health has set a new target to get 42 to 50% of the population fully vaccinated in the next 2 months. This is according to Health Promotions Officer in the Ministry, Shanika John, on NBC's Face-to-Face program this morning.
So we're definitely working to see how best we could achieve that specific target. We're just about close to 20. So we haven't hit 20 as yet. We're there about under. But we're definitely going to work hard for the next month or so, 2 months, to see how best we could double that.
John also used the opportunity to thank those who made it possible for the ministry to meet its first target.
Required a lot of work. The team leaders and myself across in Vincent and the Grenadines, we really try to strategically target specific groups that we think needed to, 1, get their second dose back, and 2, those persons who are still borderline, and we just really reached out to them for those consideration. It also required a lot of information being submitted on a timely basis as well, because we had a specific target in mind. And so the team leaders really worked hard to ensure that that was done. And I was really pleased, even up to the Tuesday before, we were very close to the target, and by before the evening was out, we had already hit it. So I really want to say an appreciation to all the team leaders for the vaccination sites across in Vincent and the Grenadines and their team members, and those of us who really worked with them to ensure that this target.
Meanwhile, the health promotions officer said presently there are no AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines available in the country. However, she noted that the Ministry of Health is working hard to secure some additional doses of the vaccine.
Is currently available right now. We have the Sputnik V and the Pfizer. As of yesterday, we no longer have the AstraZeneca vaccine available in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we are definitely working hard to see how we could secure some additional doses of the vaccine. And I know some persons who would have taken their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine may then start to have a little worry, but you need not to worry. One, the ministry is working to secure some additional doses. Two, if you have taken your first dose of the AstraZeneca and you're interested in getting a second dose of Pfizer, we will accept that as a mixed vaccine method, and that's accepted as fully vaccinated. And there are countries who are also accepting that as a fully vaccinated person as well. However, if you don't want to mix the vaccines and you want to wait out, you could wait up to 12 weeks with increased immunity at week 12. And that would give us some additional time to get the vaccines in country as well, and also would give you that protection that you need.
Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez has thanked the nation's teachers for heeding the call to get vaccinated. Speaking on WeFM's Issue at Hand program on Sunday, Minister Gonzalez said that the vaccination rate among teachers is now trending upwards.
And the numbers have been trending upwards. So I want to thank the teachers for taking this responsibility seriously, taking their own health seriously, the health of their students seriously. And it's something that will be a recurring theme in different sectors. We see it with the police, we see it with the nurses, the healthcare providers, and we'll have to see it through the course of this conversation today with the tourism providers. But the prerequisite to all of these things restarting and working, functioning, will be vaccinations.
Gonzalez provided the statistics of teachers who have been vaccinated thus far.
The last numbers that I saw in the cabinet, over 5 secondary schools had exceeded 70% vaccination. That's in terms of at least the first dose. There were another 4 or 5 or so that were in excess of 60-odd%. And the overall vaccination rate for teachers in the secondary schools is more than half of the teachers are vaccinated, and that number is even better in the primary schools.
In an address on Friday to mark the reopening of schools for face-to-face learning for the first time in almost a year, Education Minister Curtis King reminded the teachers that effective November 19th, proof of vaccination is required to enter school premises, except for persons who are exempted from vaccination in accordance with the statutory rules and orders 2021. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, the SVG-CC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, will host an on-campus vaccination drive this Friday, November 5th, at its Villa campus from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A news release from the college said in commenting on the drive, Director Nigel Scott said they recognize the global challenges presented by COVID-19 and neither St. Vincent and the Grenadines nor the college are exempt from these challenges, and that they therefore deem it important to host the activity as the college has a societal and institutional responsibility to actively combat the spread of COVID-19. Noting that scientific evidence shows that vaccines work, Scott was further quoted as saying that as an institution deeply supportive of science-based knowledge, as evidenced by its expanding science department, the college is offering its support to the vaccination campaign by hosting the vaccination drive. The college's preventative measures already include mandatory wearing of masks on campus, installation of sanitization stations across all divisions, employment of full-time nurses to facilitate temperature checks upon arrival, encouraged social distancing, and an incorporated virtual then blended instructional approach. The college said the vaccination drive at its Villa campus on Friday is voluntary. Tourism Minister Carlos James said the low vaccination rate in the country has been a challenge for the tourism sector and has affected the overall recovery efforts. James was at the time speaking on WeFM's Issue at Hand program last Sunday.
Being honest and frank as I can in relation to this. This is despite all of the optimistic things that are taking place and all of the things that are happening to see the region surpassing international growth in terms of return of travel to the islands. We have had a tremendous difficulty in getting persons within the sector be a part of the protocols and to have them fully vaccinated. And this is going to slow the recovery of St. Vincent and the Grenadines where tourism is concerned. If we don't take drastic measures to implement in a very strategic way, ramp up our vaccination efforts. That is something that we have to look at.
James further noted that because of the low vaccination rate, they have experienced tremendous challenges in facilitating visitors to come to the destination.
Persons are willing to travel, they're prepared to travel, the numbers are showing that, but they want to go to countries that, one, there are clear protocols in place. Two, they're confident that when they're in those countries, they can remain safe because of the high vaccine uptake and in relation to the country's response to matters relating to a pandemic and how they're handling the current COVID-19 pandemic. And these are the things that are on the minds of visitors. We're seeing an increased number of bookings. Persons are eager to come to our facilities. Equally on mainland, we're seeing a number of hoteliers are indicating that persons are booking, but they're asking the very pertinent questions. Is the person picking me up at the airport, the taxi driver, vaccinated? Is the person serving me in the restaurant where I'm going to eat vaccinated? Is the person coming to my room to clean? Is that person vaccinated? And these are the questions which we have to answer and we have to give honest answers to.
The tourism minister provided statistics on the number of persons in the sector who have been vaccinated
of the COVID-19 virus. And these are some of the challenges, because when you look at a protocol we're trying to implement to have taxi operators within a bubble to take cruise passengers from who are disembarking from the ships to selected locations across the island. We have had only 83 so far taxi operators who are fully vaccinated who have signed up to be a part of the COVID-19 bubble. In terms of tour operators, we only have 12, just a dozen. And we're still unable to get the direct numbers from the hoteliers to say, well, we are fully, our staff, or maybe one or two hotels can safely say on mainland that we have a full staff, our full staff is fully vaccinated. The Grenadines, maybe you may have a few more than that, but by and large within the sector.
There is a tourism bubble in place for vaccinated visitors, and next Thursday, November 11th, Port Kingstown is to receive its first cruise ship in almost a year. Still on tourism, the rehabilitation of tourism sites has commenced, which is expected to boost the country's tourism product. The tourism minister said the main project will be the rehabilitation of Fort Charlotte, which will see new features added. He said funding for this project was secured by the World Bank's Regional Tourism Competitive Project.
Rehabilitative work, but also we'll be adding some new activities and different types of attractions at the fort, perhaps having a number of different, capturing the different things that existed at the time when the fort was operational. So we'll be bringing that site to life. Also, I think a kiosk and a restaurant is likely to be there as well. So all of these things we're hoping to see very soon, at least in the next, I'm hoping by the next 2 years we can have that up and running.
Minister James said that tourism sites in the red zone have undergone some rehabilitative work and stressed that capital Kingstown needs a facelift, but it will need a collaborative effort by all citizens.
Continue to see upgrades to a number of the sites, especially those that were affected from the volcanic eruptions, those in the red and orange zones, the volcanic belt. So we do appreciate the fact that we have to build capacity and do a lot of infrastructure development and restorative work. In Kingston, I know they had undertaken a project to make it a bit more accessible, wheelchair access and all of these things. But again, we need to clean up the tongue, and this is not just from a government standpoint, but collectively, all of us as Vincentians, we need to make it that concerted, take that concerted effort to have our tongue a bit more clean and friendly.
The tourism minister said signage is another area that needs work, and plans are underway to have signs erected across the country.
Signage is another important point you raised. I know we are budgeting for next budget to in the financial year to have signs erected on the leeward side of the island, the northwestern side. It was supposed to be before some would they take this year's budget, but because of the fall off with the pandemic and then the eruption, so a lot of the resources we had allocated for expenditure within infrastructure development within the tourism sector had to be repurposed to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, paying some of the very workers employed in the tourism sector, and ought to be repurposed in relation to social protection, dealing with persons who are affected from the volcanic eruption. But we're still doing work. As I mentioned earlier, the Villa Boardwalk, the Villa side, we're going to add a feature which is all those persons at the sites and so on the beaches.
The Ministry of Agriculture has once again received a quantity of seeds to assist farmers increase their yield of production and, by extension, help the country to reduce its food import bill, which at last count stands at $200 million EC annually. The latest donation of seeds came from the Still Kicking Group from Canada through a contribution from the West Coast Seed Company in Canada. Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, who received the seeds, said with the impact on the agriculture sector by the recent volcanic eruption, he, along with the farmers who will benefit from the seeds, are grateful for the donation.
So again, I want to thank your entire family, to bring your entire family all the way from Canada, and you advised me that you're going to be here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for 90 days. That is really a lot of love to take the time off from your busy schedule. What we are advancing in the ministry is clear that we do not believe that all the answers to the future of agriculture that they reside with the chief or the minister or the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, but that private sector and farmers, you must rise up and start to take the lead, and we will always be there to support you. I want you to take back the message to West Coast Seeds.
Yes, sir.
That the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines were indeed thankful, and we really appreciate what has been done, and we look forward to continuing this relationship.
Absolutely.
Minister Caesar noted that the donation is very special because most of the seeds received are new to the country, and that the agriculture chief, along with his team, will assist farmers on how to grow them in this climate.
Is to expose everyone to the varieties, and I want to recognize the presence of the manager of operations Green Sprout, and also the producers cooperative union who are here, because we have to come up with a methodology not only of how we're going to distribute the seeds, but the issue of marketing the produce, because it is going to be encouraged that we have a conversation with the hotels, with the private sector, since many of these vegetables that we are going to produce, will be purchased by the supermarkets and the hotels.
The Agriculture Minister further encouraged the farmers who will receive the seeds to make good use of them.
Encourage all who will receive these seeds. These seeds are not to be stuck in the fridge. These seeds are for planting. And we have to ensure that we keep a steady program for production, because we don't want to overproduce. And we are going to also engage someone in culinary arts, because it's one thing to grow the vegetables. How you're going to incorporate them into your diet? You have to be able to prepare them, because there are some persons who do not have the experience in the preparation.
Community outreach worker for the Canadian charity group, Dwight Anderson, said the group was happy to make the donation to SVG, noting that there will be another shipment before the end of the year.
We're looking towards, this is the minimal donation that we could bring. We're looking to bring the maximum donation the next time. What we brought initially was around 12 boxes. I can't give you the exact dimension. We're looking to bring the next time at least 100 to 200 boxes. That next shipment should occur at the end of the year, in December, or in January, at the start of the new calendar year. I personally, I was born in Jamaica, moved to Canada in 1974 when I was 4 years old. My grandfather was the head of the Ministry of Agriculture in our district in Manchester. I love farming. I love farmers. I love the soil. Even in Canada in the winter, I plant in a greenhouse. To see the skill of the St. Vincent and Grenadine farmers, how you manipulate the landscape, how you deal with the climate and the soil, I'm very impressed.